Well, I'll answer it this way, Bart. I'm going first, Jamie, for the first time. Um, so Elizabeth Jones wrote this book years ago. It's really old, with some colleagues around planning environment for young children. In that book, the research in the book talks about um, 3 units of play. And what they found was, and this connected to later research that we call flow now in psychology. And what they found was when children had 3 units of play, and they're calling units of play what we would call a toy or an item. So the blocks would be 1 unit of play, bringing the magnet tiles into the blocks would be a second unit of play, and then bringing farm animals would be a third unit of play. And what they found was when the children had those 3 units of play and when allowed more than 20 minutes, because what they found was it took 20 minutes for young children, preschool age children, to get into what we would call a flow. And then after 20 minutes, they would kind of move away. And to us, it looked like they were bored. But what they found was what Montessori had found 100 years prior. They call it false fatigue. It looks like the children are bored. I might get up and walk away, but I'm coming back. And when they had 3 units of play, they were actually sustained and it tapped into creativity and problem solving because they would play for 45 minutes to an hour uninterrupted. So my response is, are we setting up those types of optimal environments for young children to engage as the response, not 9 o'clock to 9:20? I think those are kind of broad pieces that have come into early childhood just to kind of assess and evaluate it as a system. And sometimes that goes contradictory to what works best for all young children. So I would offer up to you, kind of think about the science of what we know really, really works in the context of what may be constraints that you're faced with, depending on you may be working for a school district program, you may be a family child care provider and have multiple age children, you may be in the play group where families are coming in and out, they may know very little about child development. So understanding all of those different contexts, use what actually works best for young children. And what we know is it's time, giving them time to develop the complexities around play, that they're as simple as they may appear to us. Children actually show up with a lot of creativity and that we actually educated out of them. This is 1964. Dr. George Land, who was the director of NASA, had over 600 Head Start children. They scored his you can Google it, his creativity test. It's only 11 questions. All of the 4-year-olds scored in the 95th percentile. As they got older and turned 7 and 12 and became employed, it continued to plummet. So as they were adults, the people who were charged with sending us to space, they scored below 10% in terms of creativity. That's all connected to play. So because we show up as young citizens ready to play with creativity, and some of what we do with the constraints that we add, we push it out of them. So when we say, oh, the puppet's only for that one thing, instead of that puppet is Miss Barb's puppet and she uses it, but we have 5 other puppets over here and they have that both and, so I can go be creative with the other puppet. It's all interconnected. So I won't be able to give you a time. I'm the wrong person for that, unless I was coming to help you with something like an ITERS or an ECHRS or a class that actually things that have times attached to them, then follow that. But if you're really looking at what's best practice, what's good and right for me and the children who I share space and time with, I would lean the other way around, making sure that we're giving them those types of opportunities. Thanks, Barb.